Hello, and welcome to the spitting image of destiny. My name is Ebube, and you are listening to Popcorn for Dinner. This week, on the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to think about, and we've been shown a lot because a lot has been revealed to us. And frankly, this show might just be a little bit more fun than we thought it'd be. We learn a little bit more about Egg, which is, I'm just going to say, the understatement of 2026 so far. We learn more about what Dunk has ahead of him, and we also learn more about the royal family and how certain patterns just don't seem to stop. I'm not going to do this alone. We need to get right into it. So I'm just going to mention right now that Soonen is here once again. And, well, someone else is too, but I can't really tell because
I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong.
Because it looks like somebody had to keep his promise to the internet for being wrong.
Listen, you go against the egg, you get fried, man.
That's good. Oh my god. Yeah, for everybody who's not sitting here with us on YouTube and is on an audio platform, I just need to point out that Afam has a bag on his head because that's what he said that he would do if it turned out that he was wrong about Egg. And it turns out, well, spoiler alert, he was wrong about Egg. But
Okay.
I'm going to give him leave to take the bag off his head now.
All right, thank you so very much. Now that I am free, I was not wrong. That boy is a liar. He's a liar.
To be fair,
Yeah, but you said he was
a liar.
nefarious. You said he was nefarious.
Well, I was slightly off. Excuse me. I'm not as familiar with this era of Targaryen history. But
Okay.
But wow, Targaryen
Yeah.
history indeed. What a revelation.
Crazy reveal.
What a revelation. Soonen has been holding this back for weeks.
Listen, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. You know, there's sometimes I nearly let it slip. But now I'm glad to be able to, say that egg was
I have to say, though,
Aegon all along.
I was not expecting it to happen this quick. I wasn't sure I was expecting it to happen this quick. I thought, going in, I thought maybe this would happen towards the end of the season, or maybe in the last episode, and that would be like the cliffhanger for season 2. But the fact that it's happening now is actually very promising because it means that the stakes have upped a bit. The dynamics will change mid-season, and we have a lot to look forward to in season 2 because, and by the way, this show has already been renewed for season 2. They said that it's going to come out in 2027, and House of the Dragon has been renewed for season 4. Season 3 will be out in the summer of this year, but season 4 they're saying will come out in 2028, keeping with their normal schedule. So yeah, there's we eating good is all I'm gonna say.
We eating good.
At least hopefully
we
we
eating
will
good.
be. Maybe depends on if Ryan Condal is cooking. But I will say that this revelation does a lot for the story. What were you guys' first impressions of the moment? Because I think they were able to sell it. I think they were able to sell the hype, and I'm a big fan of Dexter Sol Ansel now. That's where I'm just gonna.
All right.
That's a good place to land.
Well, my first reaction was literally shit. Because I knew what I had to do for the next recording. Then my next reaction was that we had spent the whole of episode 2 being like, bro, where are your kids? And I then went, shit. Here's one of the fucking kids. They gave this to us.
It makes sense.
It makes so much sense. We just didn't see it because it's just a little bit of information that we didn't know. And then my third reaction was that, why are you trying to get Dunk in trouble? Dunk is he's a hedge knight. What's he supposed to do against the Targaryen king?
Well, he didn't get Dunk in trouble, actually. He's trying to get him out of trouble at that point.
It was good. He was like, yo, go do something. I don't think he was expecting Dunk to attack the guy. But at the same time, I don't know what he was expecting. But he knew that whatever happened, he would have his back. So
Exactly.
No, what I mean is that if he really is a Targaryen, why didn't he just go in and stop it, Because essentially he ended up going in and stopping things anyway by revealing who he was. So if he had just, unless there's something
I guess
I'm
it's because he
missing,
can't beat up his brother. Like, he's too small to beat up his brother.
Yeah.
But he can
I see what
command
you
somebody
mean.
beating up his brother to stop.
And then fix it afterwards. I see.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if he had gone in there, his brother may have just ignored him.
Exactly. Or he could have told his brother's guards to stop, which they did, but his brother could have just kept on doing whatever he wanted.
Yeah,
you know,
Yo, he broke her
to the
okay.
girl.
What a
Yeah,
dick.
fair enough. Yeah, what
Are
an
you
asshole,
kidding
man.
me?
But
I mean,
also, you did
I
it so emotionlessly. You're just like, hello, now you die
But-
now.
I mean, we're at the end of the episode here, but I think you could kind of see the seeds of that with his approach to the joust in earlier in the episode, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of seeds and I guess hints that were planted. First of all, in episode 1, we see that this is just a random kid who's dressed in, I guess, sackcloth, for lack of a better term, and and the other person that he seems to be with is like, oh, don't worry about that other guy. He's drinking and he's like, oh, I had a vision of you, da 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 da. And it's a little confusing. It's like, okay, what's wrong with this person? We've learned a lot about Egg now. We now can glean that there were some signs, right?
Absolutely.
One major thing that I can point out is the fact that he knew too much. Like, he just knew random things that he shouldn't be knowing. Our discussion last week about the crabber, it's like, okay, how does he know what that is? And also he's talking about like die Blackfire scum. And it's like, okay, why is he taking that so personally right here? But then you think about it, who else would be so personally offended by Blackfires and the Blackfire Rebellion than a Targaryen? And he's not just, I mean, I guess another sign is the fact that the fortune teller says you will be king, which goes into a whole lot of things that I'm not sure we can even start to open. That's a whole can of worms right now. We can't really put them back. So clearly there were signs as to who this guy was, like the way he looked at Aerion, for example. Every single time Aerion showed up, there's one point actually when Aerion appears and he's like, I want to leave.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I can't be here.
And it makes sense because, like not just Aerion, I think there was also a different part where I think if you notice, he never went in with Dunk into like, say, where the Baratheons were,
because he knows that he'll be recognized.
Yeah,
even when Raymond Fosterway is talking to them, right? Raymond Fosterway is talking to them, is like, oh, this young lad is my squire, and he's just like, yeah, good day. He's looking away. He's like, I can't let anybody see. And it would be so interesting if the show did, what happens in the books, right, where the Targaryens all have purple eyes, because then he's like, okay, his hair is shaved off, but he still has his purple eyes. But then again, I think an explanation in the books is that like some people may end up having purple eyes here and there because of Targaryens frequenting whorehouses and things like that. So it could have been explained away, but I guess in the show they wanted to kind of keep that mystery a little bit more, and I would say that it worked well. So yeah, I think it's a good reveal. I loved the moment. I loved him saying, I cut my hair off because I didn't want to look like you. Like, he doesn't outright say, like, they don't do like a full on, my real name is Prince Aegon. Like, they don't have him doing anything like that. He just shows up, he is who he is, and he's commanding people that he should have no business commanding. Yeah. And I think that makes it all the more powerful because basically you understand what's happening before you realize that you understand what's happening. And I think that's going to be great for people who don't know anything, like who haven't read any books, who haven't heard anything, who haven't been spoiled. And yeah, hopefully people have been able to actually stay unspoiled for, well, the past 2 weeks.
Definitely a tough one to stay unspoiled for, because there have been many references in the original Game of Thrones series, particularly, from Master Aemon. We hear of the other brothers, of Maker's, all his sons and what they're up to. But it's interesting, the reveal is great because, whenever they're about to talk about the last son who ends up getting revealed here.
That's another hint. He walks right in.
Yeah, he walks right in and the speech gets stopped at that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, great reveal. I really enjoyed it. It's been hard to hold it back, but it explains so much about, Egg's knowledge, how he knows so much about royal houses and their relationships to each other and the lists, and,
clearly
chivalry and
educated. Like this isn't a
etiquette and all
random.
that.
This isn't just a random boy that was on the street. Like this guy can
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, no, for
he
real,
can
which is a
read.
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something I found out was interesting is because Dunk directly asked him if he knew his father. I don't remember if he said no or something
He said
along
not
those lines.
really. He said not
he
really.
said not really, and I just find that
Yeah.
interesting because it's like such a good answer.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Because
I
we all know
don't
Egg is a
really know
liar
that guy
and
that
can't
well.
be
We don't
trusted.
understand each other.
Leave
it
egg
was really fun.
alone. Leave egg alone. You mess with the egg, you get fried. Leave
Okay,
him
can we talk
alone.
about the symbolism of that massive egg that they cooked in the morning?
Yes.
The
the
sandwich
goose
that they
eggs.
made, the goose egg.
Yeah.
The
That
goose
was
eggs.
the biggest egg I've seen in my life.
Those were really big eggs, bro. Like,
Yes.
can somebody find, like, where do you get those? Like,
Goose,
those
you
are
have
huge.
to find a goose. You have to find a goose to lay for you. You have to find a goose to lay for you. Yeah.
I'm
It's
making plans
very
right
fun
now. But
reveal.
okay, no
Very
problem.
fun
Yeah.
reveal.
No problem. One thing I can't say though, or this prophecy, because another hint, as far as I can tell, is the fact that his reaction to the prophecy was very. He was very
Yeah,
apprehensive.
it sounded like it
she
could
gets the prophecy
actually happen.
and he's panicking.
you know.
He's like, "Why would she say that, bro? Why would she say that?" I was like, "Bro,"
And now we
that's-
know why he was panicking because
Yeah,
he's
like-
close to that orbit,
I have to say, as somebody who knew who he was, right? I could not stop laughing at that because this guy was like, "Yo, make her take it back." Like, if this was a different kind of show, you would have started beating her. It's like, "Yo, don't say that. Don't say things like that." But then she also even seems a little bit like, she seems kind of apprehensive too. It's like she looks at him, she kind of has an idea of like who he must be, and then to the regular viewer, it's like, oh, this is just some crazy person. She's just talking nonsense. And then at the end, it's possible that some viewers would have forgotten about the prophecy and because it's been overshadowed by the reveal itself. But anybody who's going back to reflect is going to be like, wait, hold on. So does that mean his future is going to be crazy? Like, and also what she said about Dunk, that he's going to, basically she said he's going to be all right. So we don't know what that means yet, but I mean, it's wild, right? I don't know. I think that moment was very pivotal, and I think it's going to be something that we'll look back on as viewers of this series and be like, okay, there was a lot happening here that we just didn't see. I think it was, well played. It was well, set up. The direction was good. The reveal itself, that direction was good as well. I love the way it was written. Big shout out to Sarah Dina Smith, who directed the episode, and the writers as well. Like, this episode was written by Hiram Martinez, Annie Julia, and Ira Parker, who is proving himself very capable so far. I like what he's doing.
More power to him as a showrunner. It feels like we're in capable hands of someone who understands the world that they're playing in a really deep way.
Yeah, and kind of as an aside, it makes me feel some type of way a little bit about Ryan, because Ryan was also a fan. Ryan is somebody who respects the sports source material a lot, but now I wonder if people's allegations about him essentially making fan fiction and taking unilateral decisions.
I'm sorry. I need a second. What did you just say? Fan fiction.
That's what people are saying on the internet. People have been cooking him for like the past year.
Fan fiction.
People are saying it's fan fiction, and I'm
oh
like,
my God.
I wouldn't go that far. Like clearly some production decisions have been made. I don't think that is going to ruin the show, but I think going away from that, it is nice, on the other hand, to have someone like Ira who is taking a little bit of a different approach. One could argue that this show is a little bit harder to mess up because there are fewer moving parts. But
yeah.
I say to that, I say whatever. Like, I accept it. Let it be good, whatever that means. So definitely props to everyone who's working on this, and actually props to the score and the musical direction. Right, it's not being done by Ramid this time, and well, I'm okay with that. I guess they wanted something that felt different.
Whatever, it's fine.
So yeah,
I liked how it played out in the reveal. Again, when I watch the show, I just hear Fleabag the camera cuts, the way the music just
Fleabag.
jumped. It
the
just gives me
dramatic
Fleabag.
cuts at the
Yeah.
end were very.
Yes.
And the fact
It
that they
was
hold
such
the camera
Fleabag.
at the awkward pauses.
Yeah.
Like if somebody
giving
says something
Fleabag.
dumb and like they don't immediately cut away. They make us sit there in the silence. It's really
There
wild.
was a lot of that kind of banter in this episode so going back to like the first scenes, right, between Egg and the horse. That was all the funniest scenes to me, where
That
Egg
was
is trying to like
interesting.
get this horse to like
Tell the horse, bro, you have work to do. You need to train.
like practice.
He's twice as big
And
as your last rider.
and then the horse just poops. and then eventually he gets the horse into it and you know, Thunder
And the fact that
is
he's
then
training
able to
too,
get
right?
ready.
He has to train.
Yeah.
At first I was like, okay, this is fine. He can handle it. But then I saw like the other squires and what they actually have to do. And I'm like, bro, this is intense work. Like this is dangerous
you guys
even
are
for the
just
people on the ground.
going in there just
Wow. I wonder now, like, now that we know who he is, now that everyone knows who he is he going to get a chance to squire? I know he really wants to be a squire, which is the title of this episode, by the way, The Squire.
The Squire, yep.
So I wonder, like, he said he could be happy in a place like this. Which, by the way, is another hint. And Dunk's like, you are in a place like this. What are you talking about? And he's like, oh, you know, I mean, you know, for a while. And clearly, this is somebody who's running away from home. I don't even know how he successfully ran away from home. I really want them to expand on that to see, like, how he escaped the party that was coming down to Ashford.
I mean, that's part of his characterization, right? This guy is a royal, but he's resourceful enough to be on the road by himself and not get killed, not get robbed, not get bad things happen
Smart enough to cut his hair.
Smart enough to cut his hair.
That was very smart. That was very smart.
Most kids would not even think about that.
Yeah, and he also learns fast. He's you know, taking time to learn skills, like learning how to sew from Dunk. Yeah, this is Team Egg all the way over here. Sorry,
right. He is a liar and he's an incestuous alien, okay?
That's not his fault. Which, by the way, Raymond Fossoway, incestuous alien is crazy.
It's the craziest
That
thing.
is insane.
I want
because
to talk
that's
about
what people definitely are saying.
I want to talk about that a lot because there's a lot of history.
We could literally
there.
do a whole episode just breaking down that speech.
Yes, because the Fossaways are actually descended from the first men. They're not a Roynar family. They're descended from the first men in the Reach. And for him, you know, to still remember that ancestral slight of Aegon the First conquest, it
showing
shows
up
that
as aliens or flying lizards.
Yeah, it shows that there's always been that tension there between the Seven Kingdoms and their rulers, the Targaryens, because these guys are basically from somewhere else and they've been ruling for hundreds of years.
There's a lot of
took
spite.
it by force.
Yeah.
You know, so there's definitely a lot of spite. But now, you know, it's interesting to see that come out from a character that seems like, you know, so jovial.
Yeah.
Not just jovial. Like, he's giving us the view of the general populace without even being lowborn himself. So like these, like the lowborn people definitely think this on some level, though they would never voice it. So Fossoway is interesting because he has this status of not being quite royal or necessarily noble. Like he's not the heir or anything like that. He doesn't have the poise needed yet. And he's also not quite so lowborn as to be scared. So he's in a position where he would basically be speaking his mind about certain things, and I just think that's kind of fun because having a character like that specifically here does a lot for the narrative, and we can learn a lot from somebody like that. Like we see that he does have enough sway. Like he's the one who's able to get Dunk into Lionel Baratheon's tent, right? So that already tells you that okay, this guy has some access. Like he is somebody. But it is kind of interesting how he says the things he says.
You mentioned something just now that I think I might have to push back on a little bit. You said that, you know, he's saying stuff that the lowborns might not necessarily say, right? I think in this episode there were a lot of things that showed that the peasantry, the small folk, are a little more, they voice things out a little more than we're used to.
No,
Number
100%.
one, which
100%.
is the play, right, where Aerion goes and starts breaking fingers. it is about a knight fighting a dragon, literally the symbol of the ruling house of the land.
And that's what results in what happens at the end, right? But that's the thing.
And there's also the stone that's thrown.
The stone that's thrown.
Aerion. Yeah.
I get you, and I agree with you. But the reason I feel like this is different is because those two things, on some level, are done anonymously. Like the guy who throws the stone, Aerion is not going to see who actually threw that stone, and that person is not likely to be caught. And when it comes to plays, on some level, there's like unless you're somebody like Aerion who's an absolute dick, most people will see something like that and go away. We actually, funny enough, have something like that in House of the Dragon season 1, where we see Daemon and
Rhaenyra before their little
so they go and they watch on these plays, and Rhaenyra is like, hey, what the heck, how are they saying that? And Daemon's like, relax, watch and learn what they think of us. You know, somebody who's smart would act a certain way for that. So there's a perceived level of like, you know, being reasonable in such situations. Whereas here, this is somebody talking directly to another person who he knows is a knight.
That's true.
Surrounded by people in a tent where it's like, oh, they're highborn people here. Like, I feel like a regular lowborn person would not be quite so bold as to say it in exactly that way. And even Ramaphosa is like, oh, I got a bit carried away. You know? Yeah. So that just tells you that like there's a level of boldness that he has that a regular person might not have, but he's able to say those things for the benefit of us, the audience. But, you know, all the other ways that the people feel about the Targaryens, as you said, are shown to us little by little. And it's very palpable, the tension. Because let's think about where we are in not just the world, but the history. Because at this point, right, there's still some tensions. We don't fully know everything about what they are yet. As far as we know, there are issues within the Targaryen family that are resulting from whatever happened at the end of the Dance of the Dragons. That hasn't been revealed to us yet. So him going out of his way to say that they're dragging people into their wars, and literally the best thing any of them can do is not be born and not sire children. Yeah. That is seething rage. That is hatred. It is disdain of the highest order. Yeah. And the fact that they were actually ready, like as a crowd, again, grouped as a crowd, not individually, is the power of like hiding within anonymity to attack Aerion. Like, I started bursting out laughing when the King's Guard came out from wherever they were hiding. Like, those guys were ready. They came out in their white horses, which, by the way, they look like ghosts. It's interesting to me and always very beautiful as far as I'm concerned to see how the King's Guard is portrayed in all the different eras. We see how they look in Game of Thrones. We see how they look in House of the Dragon. And I like how they look here, too. So you can see that it's one of those things that subtly shows you the passing of time. And I like the fact that, you know, they got white stallions for them, and they're wearing white armor. Like, they're just prepared. And also, that just tells you, like, no matter what's happening here, this is the royal family.
Their visibility is a little different, right? Whereas House of Dragon, a royal is going anywhere surrounded by Kingsguard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas here, they're a little more in the background. I wonder how much
that's because this was the lists and they couldn't necessarily be there, like, on the actual jousting grounds, but they were close enough that they could show up literally with horses. So I guess that was the contingency for that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, bearing in mind that they wouldn't necessarily be attacked. And you know, while we're on it, you know, maybe Afam, you can direct some of your vitriol towards Aegon, to his older brother. How do we feel about Aegon?
That's a given though. That dude is such an asshole. It's like but I'm not gonna lie.
Giving him villainous theme music.
I enjoy it. I enjoy his like because he's the epitome of like, this man is clearly a horrible person, but he just doesn't care. He's like Viserys, who has power. Like, so by Viserys I mean Daenerys' brother, who has power, but is also kind of useless. But at least this guy can kind of fight, I'm assuming. But
I mean, we know he fights dirty.
Oh yeah, then he can fight. I mean,
yeah,
he won.
You can actually tell
the
tension whenever he walks into a place. You can just tell that everyone is uncomfortable. Like, we see it later on when the play is happening. Like, people were jovial. I love the background actors, the extras. Fantastic job. Like, literally, he walks in and you can actually just tell that like everybody's kind of just a little bit mad now. Yeah. And honestly, the fact that he would go as far as burning the place down, trashing it, like, bro, relax. Like, this is why you don't let children rule kingdoms.
Yeah.
Depending on the child.
He's
anyway,
an interloper, like whoever said it in House of the Dragon.
I have to say, though, we saw signs of that as well before the joust. Like, when he rides in, you can tell that Baelor, who we love, is looking at this guy and just like, oh my God. Like, what is, like, what fresh hell is this? What am I going to have to clean up now? We need, like, he's probably already calling the accountants. It's like, okay, we need to prepare some money for the Ashfords because we know that this guy is about to destroy something or another. Yeah. And we also meet, by the way, Valar, Baelor's son.
That's true, Baelor's
and
son,
we see that he does, in fact, have dark hair as well. And I'm guessing there's something in the heritage about that, right, Soonen?
Yes, there is some heritage about that. I don't know if I can reveal it right now.
Maybe not, but I think I feel like there's probably a reason. Like, based on what's happening in the world, and like I feel like there's something a bit.
There's absolutely a reason, and another thing you notice is the tension, right, between him and Valar. Right, is he going to challenge him?
Yeah, and he's like, "Don't worry, I wouldn't embarrass you today." Cousin.
Yeah, exactly. The guy who he ends up challenging is Sir Humphrey Harding. The Hardings are a royal house in the Reach. They're not small potatoes either. So it's definitely, pretty bold for him to go after him and also unhorse him in the way that he did.
Because that guy he's kind of done for, at least for a while. Like his leg is broken.
Yeah,
his leg is shattered. Yeah. Like, that is.
What did you guys think of the character Sir Riesling that comes up on Egg as he's training Thunder?
I thought that my first thought actually when I look back on that is how efficient the flashback on that guy was.
Yes,
that was so great.
It characterized him so well.
This is excellent storytelling. Like, literally, in a matter of seconds, we know exactly who this guy is. Like, we need more of that. That is beautiful.
It really is.
Like, oh, what happened to your eye? And then they literally just show us. And the fact that he kept saying, even the fact that he was like, oh, we, they, us, and you could tell that, like, okay, this guy's not necessarily, he's not all up there, right? And that's another thing, right? How does Egg know exactly who this guy is?
Yeah,
it's like that's a very random person for you to know.
Yeah, so, I mean, but we know Egg is almost like a walking encyclopedia of royal houses. I love a quote from him where I think he says, "We serve the warrior. If it is madness bid, then it is madness dealt." Ooh.
Yes, exactly.
Man, I wouldn't want to see that guy in a battle.
Bro, there's nothing scarier. The only thing scarier than that a skilled fighter is a skilled fighter who is also a religious fanatic. that's all I'm going to say on that. And honestly, when I think of Aerion, I wonder what would happen if someone like him had to joust with someone like this guy. Because, like, first of all, would he win? Would he fight honorably? It's hard to tell, but I think that would have made for an interesting matchup. Obviously, that's not something that can happen now. But funny enough, when I think of Aerion, you know who he actually reminds me of? He reminds me of Aegon. He reminds me of Aegon II, Rhaenyra's brother, in House of the Dragon, on some level, especially in his younger years, right? And I think first, and this is the point where I have to kind of like shout out Finn Bennett, who plays Aerion, because he's doing an amazing job. Like, I think of all the tiny, yellow-haired, villainous creeps we've gotten in all the Game of Thrones shows. Right?
Sounds like Afam is a fan, but...
I mean, first of all, there's Joffrey, right? Who is everything Joffrey is. Then in House of the Dragon, we get Aegon. And we see that the thing that most of these guys have in common the most is entitlement. And the fact that they believe that they're untouchable. So... yeah. I think Finn Bennett is maybe and this is literally in a matter of one episode. He may be one of the best portrayals of this idea of an entitled, yellow-haired asshole that we've gotten so far. Because the difference between Aerion and Aegon is the fact that Aerion is actually villainous. Like, you actually feel an air of sinister foreboding when he's around. Kind of like with Joffrey, but in a way that has actual teeth.
Mhm.
Like, Joffrey was a credible threat, but that was because of his office and the power that he wielded. Like, Aerion is a threat not just because of the power he wields by way of his name and his office, but literally just him as a person. It's like, this is not a guy that you want to meet randomly in the streets.
I mean,
after 9 p.m. Like,
yeah,
like literally, whereas Aerion is villainous, like Aegon is kind of just confused. Like, he's just hella confused by comparison. Like, I don't know if we can even truly call Aegon II a villainous person. Like, he's not really a villainous person. He's kind of just he really just wants to. He always wanted to chill. He tried to get rid of the throne. It didn't work, and now he's everything that they forced him to be, and is facing the consequences for that.
Yeah.
More of which we'll see in House of Dragons season 3. But now we have this guy Aerion, who is, a new kind of threat, and you can tell how uncomfortable everyone is. I think it's interesting that we don't see Mykar in this episode at all.
Huh.
Oh wow!
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, the only reaction we got from a grown up in the room was Baelor, who was clearly just like, ugh.
Oh, that's true. They did mention that Mykar wasn't seated because he was looking.
Because he went
for
to
his
actually
sons.
join the effort personally to find his dang sons.
Yeah.
You can't just lose 2 of your heirs like that. So
That's true. That's
as we
very
learned from Raymond
important.
Fossaway, he has 4 heirs. So, like, 2 of his sons being either missing or dead, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Even if they're not the youngest. Actually, to be fair, they said that the oldest one is missing and the youngest one was missing, and we now know who the youngest one is. So I guess we'll learn more about how Mykar sees his sons and the relationships that they have with him.
But I mean, there was a comment on the oldest one. I just don't remember what the wording was used. But it was just like the oldest one is useless.
He's a drunk.
Was it Bigard or something like that? I don't remember. But he's a drunk. So the oldest one is a drunk. The second one is vain and cruel. The third one is a maester. And then the fourth one is, and then it cuts.
And then he walks in. They can't tell us.
A bald-headed child walking into the room.
The fourth one is resourceful, slightly deceptive,
a liar,
deceitful,
a liar.
Technically, never lied to Dunk.
If somebody uses it technically, then it means that we know this. It's okay. It's I know how you blacks are.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
This is not the right show.
To clarify, he's talking about the difference between the blacks and the greens from House of the Dragon, okay? This is a Pan-Africanist show, okay? We love all our
goodness.
People. I know how you blacks are.
This is wild. This is wild. Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay, I suppose as we close out, I would like us to sort of address the thing that happens at, I suppose, the top of the episode that hasn't really been resolved yet. And that's the notion of the offer. What Dunk is being offered by the Ashfords.
By our spitting friend.
Bro, that guy, first of all, not them having a cinematic spit transition in this show. Like, what? He hawks in one shot and spits in the next? Like,
yeah,
whose idea was
that? I loved that.
That is crazy. The direction is cinema. Crazy. Sarah Dina Smith, I hail you.
Whoever did that, if you're a writer on this show, you're watching this, or you're a cinematographer, or you're the one that did like the storyboard on that.
That was actually very good.
And the sound designer and editor.
Yeah. It lends humor in a place that you might not expect. And that's really, really fun, But when he does get that offer, though, I mean, he's trying to give him everything that he came here for. Just maybe not in a way that he would have earned it. I mean, Dunk says that he wants to, I guess he wants to earn his success. But then again, it's not like he's not being paid to lose, right? He's being paid to win, and he was trying to win anyway. So does this really taint the win? What do you guys think?
I think Dunk wants to be a true knight in every sense of the word. I think Dunk is a true believer in the institution of knighthood and what it's supposed to be. Honor, protecting the weak, and doing the right thing. And it's tough, because now he's forced to either go for something uncertain where he could end up losing everything, or going for something certain where he betrays himself. And it sounds like he, makes the decision to not go with that when he walks by, our spitting friend, the games master, in one of the later scenes.
Yeah, the guy's looking at him like,
What's up?
have you? It's like the eyes emoji. That guy is so funny, bro. The guy's
But that
actually
also
hilarious.
brings up so many questions about the entire institution of jousting. How many of these fights are sold like this?
Yeah. Yeah, the fight was made before anybody could even do anything about it, and
absolutely,
that's
like
something
boxing.
to kind of
yes.
Allegedly.
Bro, we know it happens, man. No be today. No be today.
Honestly, it's a good world. It's an interesting world, I guess, and there's so much that we can learn just from, I guess, the actions of this one guy, especially the fact that Ashford is not even coming to. Obviously, Ashford wouldn't be asking Dunk about this himself. But then I wonder, did Ashford sanction this, or is it just this guy doing this on behalf of his lord?
Ashford absolutely sanctioned it, because I think when you see him, because the guy that is storing the fight, I believe, is Ashford's son or his second son or something. And when you see him walking by, you kind of see him with Ashford. Actually, you know what? Fair point. Maybe Ashford doesn't know about it, to that detail. But yeah,
I think he knows.
Oh yeah.
I think this thing is so expensive, and then he's going broke, and he needs a way to make some money to pay for all of this.
Oh, that's
my theory.
But here's the thing, though. Here's where I think it might get a little bit confusing for the audience, because how will losing get them money?
Because people bet on the joust.
So essentially, this is really just in terms of the betting and the gambling aspect.
So
not because of because of the fact that he's going to lose his arms and armor.
Will bet on Dunk to lose. He's an upstart with trash armor, never been in a joust before, versus, the scion, well, not the scion, but, someone from a prominent house with great armor, like good equipment, great horse. Like, you'll definitely go for that guy. And the intent is that, will then, sort of fix the fight and get all that money.
Yeah.
Do you guys think he's going to do it?
I don't think he's going to do it.
No, me either.
Yeah. That just doesn't line up with everything we've seen from him thus far. As I keep saying, this is someone, every time, if you've noticed, he said this, a true knight. He said it a few times when describing Sir Arlan. I think he has an aspiration of what a true knight is, that he wants to be. And it's a hard decision, but I think he's going to believe in himself and push forward and try and make something from his own efforts.
Yeah, man. He's clearly an idealist. Idealists don't generally do very well in this world. But I guess we'll have to see how far he gets. It's interesting because now he's gonna have a lot more to worry about, because his squire is just turned out to be to be his prince. So
not only that, he struck a prince. He has struck, a prince.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that well, obviously that's gonna be an issue for him, because he could die. He could actually, even though Egg has saved him here, he could end up actually getting killed for doing that. Though I think Egg could argue in his defense, or they could say that, based on Egg's testimony, that, I would have been dead if not for this guy. Like, you guys have been looking for me. You thought I was dead, but, Sir Duncan saved me. Maybe they're going to pardon him because of that. Like the good outweighs the bad type of thing. So I guess we'll have to see how that turns out. But yeah, I guess that's an episode 4 question, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited to see a little more of Aerion. Finn, you said his name Finn Bennett, right? The actor. He plays such a cold, person.
Cold, calculating,
even when
smart.
He gets punched by Dunk, he gets up, he doesn't shout. He never raises his voice.
He doesn't even try to hit back. He just says, okay.
Yeah, he just says, why would you throw away your life, for this? He calls our girl a whore,
Which
but
made
yeah,
me feel like he should be punched again, by the way.
honestly,
But-
I think Dunk would have if he wasn't being held by 3 men.
Yeah, at one point I was like,
It was
are we
5.
going to see? Are we going
Oh,
to
it was
see?
5.
Yeah, it ended up becoming 5 because I thought we were going to see a situation where Dunk actually is strong enough to throw these guys off his body. But I guess the show is kind of holding its cards back on what Dunk is actually capable of doing physically. So
Yeah.
they brought more guys to hold him. It ended up being like 5 guys holding him down, which
Wow.
is crazy. That just tells you everything you need to know, right? And they were actually about to start kicking his teeth out. Whoa, that would have been
Bro,
that would have been
like,
something.
oh
Like what
my
a brutal
gosh.
world. Like this, the
Yeah.
tone of the show is still light in general, but I love the fact that they can still take pockets like this to remind us exactly where we are.
We still live in Westeros.
Like this is the kind of thing Daemon and his boys were doing in City Watch.
Yeah. That's
just crazy.
chopping off some things.
Oh my god, those guys were crazy, bro. Those guys are actually
Yeah.
insane. Like when you find out that Daemon is the one who started the City Watch, and then you go over to Game of Thrones and you see what the City Watch is doing now.
Yeah, like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think, and funny enough, like Dunk, I think has roots in Flea Bottom, right? So he's somebody who could have ended up in the City Watch. I'm sure they would have loved to have a guy like that.
In episode 1, he's talking to the horses and he's like, well, should I go in and join the City Watch? And
Yeah.
he says something funny. I mean, sexual assault is never funny, but he's like, he points his sword. He's like, stop your raping, sir. Like,
Yeah, I was like, bro, relax. I mean, definitely catch them, but maybe tone it down.
yeah, definitely tone it down.
Yeah,
maybe
that's a
stop
fun
it
episode.
instead of asking him to stop it.
Wow, guys, this is like we've gone through the first half of this series now. The first
Yeah.
half of the season, it's a lot. I think the way this is set up, you could probably watch the entire show in one sitting in about 3 to 4 hours, which I think some people are probably going to opt to do.
Yes.
I wonder what that viewing experience is going to be like compared to those of us who are watching it weekly. We're going to probably have to have a debrief after that to really see. But yeah, thank you so much for your insights, guys. I'm really looking forward to what's coming in the second half of this season. I think things are going to get a little bit more serious. I think it's still going to be a great hang, but now Dunk obviously has reached the point where there's actual conflict coming his way. He has internal conflict and he has external conflict, and that makes for good drama, especially within a comedy like this, if you can call it that. So I guess thank you all for listening up until this point. Please check out everything else we're covering. We're still doing Industry and The Trading Desk, our industry midweek show hosted by me. And we're still going to be covering this show every week right after it comes out on HBO. It's going to be an interesting ride. We have lots of thoughts as to where this show could go, so definitely keep it locked to the feed. And honestly, for now, try to avoid punching people, unless you know they're not royal.